we're getting through these guitars thick and fast. Just had another 2 guitars dropped off. This is the first of them. Fender Telecaster, USA. Look at that. What a beauty this is. It's in for a setup. Whatever it needs, do it. That's what we like to hear. So I imagine it's 57 type pickups, is it? I don't know what pickups. So there's no point in guessing. Lovely piece of kit, this one. Nice weight to it. 3-way. This is one of Russ's favourites. He loves this one. All standard tuners. It's a 2014 model. By the looks of it, it's got US 14 serial number. US 14 followed by 6 digits. There's a ding on the top he knows about. There's another ding crack there he knows about. There's a ding also, he showed it me here, that he knows about. He says, yeah, just give it a setup, do what needs doing, tune it to E flat standard and see what's what. So I'm just about to plug it in, have a little tinkle, see what I think. I'll check the setup as it is. Looks very, very low, that does. Wow, that's a good one. Nice low setup there. Radius is certainly not right on the bridge, I'll tell you that straight away. Non-staggered saddles on there, which could be a slight issue for intonation, but we can work around that. Action's a bit low. Neck looks to be more, it was a little bit of relief in the neck, so that should be alright. So I'm going to have a little tinker. I'm going to set it up how I want. Now, I say how I set it up. Now, I do know that Russ does like a low action, and I don't think he minds a bit of buzz down on the lower strings, so we are going to try and maintain that for him. I'll try and get rid of the buzz though, but like I say, going to have a little bit of a tinker. Main area of concern, he didn't say there was any bad frets on it, but we will be checking the frets, make sure that they are all level, and that will be it. So I'll get back with an update pretty soon. I've had the guitar plugged in and I played it, and it is delightful. It's an American Telly, what's not to like? I've just tuned the guitar in, not stretched the strings, no need, because they're coming off. I'm just setting the intonation. The intonation on the top 4 strings is fine, but on the bottom 2 strings it is not. So I am going to grab a screwdriver and I'm going to adjust the intonation. Intonation here, 12th fret, on the A and the E string is flat. So we're going to have to move the saddle toward the neck. The reason I know that is if it's flat, 4 letters, you move it to the left 4 letters. That's moving the saddle to the left as I look at it. So I'm going to turn it, and it wants a bit of, quite a bit. So I'm going to get 2 or 3 turns. Lovely long screws on these. So I'm going to turn to E flat. And we are there with that one. There with that one. So check the D string, which is now a C sharp. Good. G, which is an F sharp. Yep. B, which is an A sharp. And the E, which is a D sharp or an E flat. So the intonation is perfectly set. One thing I've not checked is the amount of relief in the neck. Now, like I said, Russ does like a straight neck. Let's just have a look to see where we are just there. Okay, there is a bit of relief in there. I've not set the radius on the saddles yet. I'm going to get to that in a minute. We're just going to check the amount of relief. So I want a 0.25 under the 7th fret. No, too much relief in there. So we're going to need to alter the truss rod. Now then, I do believe on an American Fender it is a 1/8 truss rod, 1/8 of an inch. Yep, there you go. So we're just going to tighten it up, move this string out of the way. Bear with me a second, I have a parcel from my neighbour across the road and they've just turned up. Back in a second. Let's have another check. Okay, so we've just tightened that too much, so we're going to slacken off just a little bit. let's try this straight up. You don't have to wait overnight like some people tell you with a truss rod. They work instantly. May take a little while for them to settle completely, but still a little bit too straight. So we're just going to go about another little bit, and that should be about right. And there you go. 0.25 millimeters under the 7th fret. I mean, between this, actually between the 6th and the 7th fret, but the dot of the 7th fret is where we're at. So we've got that set right. Next thing I want to be looking at is the action at the 12th fret. Now, ideally, myself, standard is about 1.75 mil on the bass side, and about 1.5 mil on the treble side. But I guarantee we're going to be a little bit lower with this guitar, because I know how Russ likes to play his guitars, and that is really low there. I'm going to bring it up. I bet it's about 1.25 here. It is 1.25 on that side, and it is 1 mil on the far side. And that, my friends, straight away, is too low. So I'm going to set these to where they ought to be. I'm going to set it to 1.25 on the treble side, 1.5 on the bass side. That's as low as I'm going to go. And once I'm set there, we'll set the middle ones. So let's have a look again. Okay, we're a little bit high there, 1.75. We are we're a little bit high now, that's good. A little bit higher than Russ would like. Just going to drop that side. Drop this side. And I'm looking for about 1.5, 1.6 on the bass side. We're 1.65 there, that's fine. We are 1.5 on the treble side. Just going to drop that treble side just a little bit. And so, let's have a look where we are. Right, 1.5 on the treble side, 1.65 on the bass side. I'm quite happy with that. So we now have the amount of relief set. We have the action set on the 1st string and the 6th string. What we need to do now is we need to match the radius here, 9.5, with the saddles here. So we've got 2 outside strings set, so we don't need to touch anything. Now if I raise these, we're going to slightly lower on the outside. Don't worry about that just yet. I'm going to bring these up, and all the strings are going to go super sharp. Don't worry about that either. I'm surprised at how bang on the intonation is with these saddles. Is there some magic to the intonation setting on these? So again, I've now raised all the 4 middle strings. Just going to check the action again. Okay, we're a little bit high. We're high on that side. We're high on both sides now. We ain't going to worry about that just yet. We'll drop that in a second. Let's recap where we are. We've set the intonation, so that's not going to alter whether if we bring these up or down, it's not going to alter the string length, so the intonation is fine. We're going to set these 2 outside strings exactly to where we need them, because we've got the right amount of relief in the neck, so we don't need to touch the truss rod again. We don't need to touch the intonating of the saddles again for intonation. We do need to change the height, so I'm going to grab, there you go. 175 over 175 on there, and we're 175 exactly there. I'm going to leave it slightly high because I do need to cut the nut slots just a little bit. So I'm going to leave it slightly high. Once I cut the nut slots at this end, this action will drop here. So I'm happy where everything is right now. I'll take a 9.5 inch radius gauge, 9.5 inch radius. Two outside strings are fine, so what we're going to do is we're still low here. That one looks pretty good, that one looks pretty good. Let's just see. And we're going to basically rest all of the strings on the top of this radius gauge. That's good. Okay, that looks a little bit high to me, but it's saying not, so what can I tell you? That is saying that we have the radius matched and everything is resting on top of the radius gauge. So again, we've now matched the radius on the middle. I'm going to drop the A1 just for a matter of course, because it looks, by eye, it looks a little bit too high for me. Sometimes you can just slightly go by eye. And then I'm going to check again. Okay, just over 1.75 on that side. So we're at 175 at 150, but we have got to carve a nut slot. So I'm happy with where that is. So we're in tune. Action is a little bit higher than Russ likes it, but we are going to lower the strings at the nut end because they're all too high. We drop half a millimetre here, we're going to drop 1/4 of a millimetre there, which is going to put everything right. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to check the relief again. Yeah, happy with that. Russ may not be too happy with the action as it is, but I actually like it. Sounds fine to me, plays fine to me. May try and get a little bit lower. So that is where I'm going to leave that for now. So we are going to, I'm not going to cut the nut slots, that's going to be the last thing we do. So I'm going to take the strings off now. And we're going to move straight on to checking the frets. Strings wise, this will be having 1046s on it. Which Russ has provided. The electrics work fine, by the way. Had it plugged in, played it too long. Played it longer than I really ought to have done. These strings are fine, shame we're changing them. While I take these strings off, I'm going to stop the camera, going to get an x-ray, and we're going to come back and we're going to check the frets. Strings off, neck set dead straight, just have to slightly alter the truss rod. That is beautiful. So neck dead straight. Just resting on top of the frets. It's solid. If that wasn't solid or the neck wasn't straight, that would wobble and try and fall over. Right, so fret rocker. We'll test the frets. I've been quite fortunate recently getting guitars in where the frets have been fine. The better the frets are, the easier my job is. Okay, I've got one high fret. Fret number 10. I'm, however, going to knock it in 10 and 13. Oh, that's astonishingly good. 2 frets, 10 and 13. That's 13, there's 10. Mark 13, just in the middle. Mark 10, the whole fret. We are going to just gently tap these with a fretting hammer, using a nylon end. I'm going to start with the 13. You notice we are supported underneath. Hold steady. Mid to firm, or light to firm, and there you go. That one's fine now. Still a little bit on this edge. Even after we've touched it, it might need a bit of work. Still needs work. Okay, we're going to do the same with the 10th fret. We're not whacking it. Still a little bit on that far side. We're still going to work these frets with files, but we don't have to do as much as we thought we had to. So, I'll charge a little bit extra for those, but this now, rather than it being an £80 intensive setup, now a £50 setup. And that is fantastic news for me, because it means it's going to be done quicker. So, because I've slightly tapped those frets, I'm just going to take my crowning file. It's a diamond file, it's already got the crown built in, and I'm just going to recrown those 2 frets. Beautiful. Clean the file. So I check the frets again. All of them. Sometimes hitting a couple with an hammer can have an effect on others. That's why we just like to level them normally. But, you know, it always pays to make sure that they're all seated right. I told him we can fetch these Saturday, it's Thursday now. He might want to fetch them tomorrow afternoon. Where things are going. Might want to fetch them tonight. I've got this one to do and I've got another one. He just wants me to change the pickups and restring it. And there you go. That is the frets done. Cover the pickup completely. Just going to polish the frets, all of them, using just steel wool. Oh, staggered poles on this bridge pickup. I didn't think they weren't staggered on Telecasters. I thought the norm was flat poles, but there you go. Pickup's covered. So you're basically seeing this setup live. Because I've not really stopped the video. Just keep it going. That's a fingerboard protector. One each side, one for smaller areas, one for the larger areas. So there you go. Grab me some finest grade steel wool, extra fine steel wool. Really simple, straight over the top with the guard in place, just to remove any tarnishing. Give it to a nice shine. You don't need any gunk on there, don't need any polish. Elbow grease is all you need. And good steel wool. Notice we covered the pickups up so we don't get any filings or shavings, or whatever we want to call it, bits of the steel wool going into the pickups. Pickups being magnetic, what we'll do is we'll brush the whole area before we remove the tape, make sure there's nothing there. So this is not going to take me long. Fit there now, and it does, that's great. Now if I was doing a deep polish, I'll be going with 5 or 6, 7 different grits of sandpaper, coming up from 400 grit up to 2000 grit, so 7 grains or 7 grits of sandpaper, and finishing off with steel wool, so 8 polishers. And the finer grits we go, the more the scratches disappear, till we have no scratches once we get to the 1500 grit, 2000 grit, whatever. In fact, you probably don't really need to go beyond 1200 grit, but I always do, always have done. So what we're going to do after this, put some strings on, check the nut slots. They get those cut to depth. When I say cut to depth, check everything again. Check the action at the 12th fret. Check the amount of relief in the neck. Once I've got the relief right, then we set the action at the 12th fret with the nut slots cut to depth. Setup is done. Every nut and bolt will be checked, tightened where needed. That'll be these on top of the machine heads, the ones on the what do you call them? Buttons, whatever. Winders. Ones on the back, holding them in up to the headstock. Strap pins. Blah 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 blah. There you go, that's done. So this is it sits in here where this is magnetised. So any filings that are loose or all get pulled into there. Right, that's that done. We're going to grab, that's what we need. Just make sure there's nothing hanging around here, this area. In this area, and there you go. Go for a little dust. That's not iron filings in there, that's just some dust. Wipe the dust away. And there you go, we are ready for strings. So now we're going to check these machine heads while we're here. Little things I don't really show on a setup, but because this is like almost a live situation, I'm just going to tighten these. Very odd, but this is American, yet these are 10mm. Everything's normally in Imperial. But a metric nut. And there you go, just to show you. 10mm. Flat file, flat screwdriver there. Check the machine heads. That one's okay. That's tight enough. That's a little bit. Just a little turn on that one. That's okay. That one's a little bit loose. Check every nut and bolt. That's better. That's fine. That's good. No problem, it's just not tight. A bit loose, now tight. Checking the screws. Just give it a little nip. That's all good. That's good now. So that's it. Everything checked. We are ready to put, just about ready to put strings back on. Flip over. Oh, there's nothing there, no screws on there to change, so that's good. So we are now ready to put the strings back on. We're just going to check the neck bolts while we're here. Again, just a little turn. That's everything nice and tight there. So that's it, we are ready for strings. So I'm going to get it strung up. Once that's done, we'll come back and we'll look at the nut slots. Strings on and stretched in. I'm going to be cutting the nut slots. I'll be using my Hosco files, nut slot files. This is the 11 set. I think it will retail about 125 quid. I think I got these from Crimson Guitars. But I'm going to pull out a set for the 1046, so I'm going on a 10. Of course I've got all the wrong ones that side. 10, 13, 16. So 10 and 13 is right, 16 that's working for a 17. Got a 36, 46 and a 28. There you go, so that's the set I'm going to be using. So very easy to explain. The height above the first fret is what we're going to be measuring. So on the bass side, I'll be looking for a gap of about 0.3mm above the first fret. That's to the top of the fret to the bottom of the string. About 0.3 this side, about 0.2 on that side, and we'll gradually just slope them down, going less and less as we get there. We could go down lower. Could get down to about 1.2 or 0.12, sorry. 0.15 would be a decent height, but I found 0.3, 0.03 and 0.02 is absolutely fine. So when I find the 3, 0.3mm or a third of a millimetre. So we're going to measure with everything else set up. We're just going to that's actually not too bad. There's a bit of a gap there, so we're just going to tune her on. We're going to grab the 46. And we're just going to just slightly open that slot, just a little, and just lower it down just a little bit. I do need that. And that's it, keeping it level with the neck, and I'll probably just a couple of strokes, and I'm just going to angle it slightly back towards the tunes, ever so slightly. And if nothing else, that's just widening the slot, just that little bit. Probably be saying you're not in tune, because I'm not in tune with E flat. It's nice enough. Next one. Not quite buzzing. We go a little bit lower. We want to go about 0.275 there. So we're looking for 36. Measure a couple of times. Yeah, a little bit high on that one. I'm just going to try and pop back in. So we're just going to go over there like so. Same again. Don't go mental. Don't be replacing the knot. Time and money, you see. Once you start seeing dust, you know you're cutting. That's nice. Just going to put the 0.25 under there. If we get the light buzz, we know we're in the right place. You can do it by eye anyway, but that's beautiful. 0.25 the next one. So I'm going to just crack on, get these done. Probably not going to talk much. Don't need to cut too much into this one, so I'm not going to go gung-ho at it. 0.28 of a mil. So the next one is a 0.017 of an inch. I've got a 16, so we're going to slightly flare this a bit wider. So make the cut, then just angle. I'm angling it slightly toward me, and away from me, and that just widens that slot a little bit. I'm going to about 0.24. If I put a 0.25 under this, we should buzz. We're not yet, so we'll go a little bit more. Again, at an angle, just to widen it up. Next we're looking at 0.2. So you get the idea. This one being the 13. Perfect, and the last one, the 10. So you get the idea. So we're just about done, so I'll stop the video, I'll come back, get the string stretched in again, and we'll finalise this video. And here we are, all done. Oh, we're not all done. I've got to put the switch tip on. What have I done with that? Just had it a minute ago. Right, I've lost the switch tip. I'll tell you why I've lost it. It keeps falling off, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So we are more or less done. What I'm going to do with that switch tip is, I'm just going to bang some tape around it so it fits a little bit better. And all I'm going to do is take some 6mm tape, because it keeps dropping off, that does. It's really loose. Take some 6mm tape, just rip off a small amount. I'm just going to fold it over here. Wilderness. And that bit of tape, just that bit of tape over there should give us enough purchase for that to hold on there then. And now it doesn't fit. Hang about. Just to show me up. Normally all we need is that. Let's just back get it lined up right. Here you go. And that switch tip is now on there tight. So that is it. We are all done, finally. And I've had it plugged in and played it, and it's a beautiful guitar. Really, really nice. Just look at it. So just recap what we've done. All we've done really is set it up. That's it. I've set the right height at the 12th fret of the strings. I've cut the nut slots. I had to alter the height on 2 frets. That's all it needed. We've set the radius. We've set the pickup height. We've set the intonation. Put a new set of strings on it. Tested the electrics. Tightened up every nut and bolt and screw and what have you. And that's it. We are all done. Very easy one. I don't get many easy ones in. That's a nice and easy one for me. So ready to move on to the next one. Before I do go, just remind you of my website, facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. It's also fretfriend.co.uk. And that is it. I am Victor. I am your fret friend. Until the next one, as always, God bless you. Be good to each other. I'll see you in the next one.